Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Jason.
And this is Ghosts and Bears, the only podcast where we bring you the actual ghost stories
With the actual history.
in the actual place. Coming up on this episode of Ghosts and Bears, we're off to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, one of Jason's favorite places, and we're going to hear all the creepy stories that are there. And we're such a small town, there's a surprising amount. Coming up on Ghosts and Bears. Well, hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How about you?
Well, we're recording this the same night we're releasing, which is not my favorite thing to do, but we don't have a lot of choice because...
I had projects due and MBA school is so busy.
And your real new job is kind of kicking off now. It's getting busy.
Yes.
No more preliminary training. It's the full thing. So
Yeah,
that's
pretty much
an adventure. And yeah, things have just gotten kind of crazy. I wrote a book by mistake
That's pretty cool.
that is pretty funny. It's going to be out before Christmas, about a very haunted house in Drumheller.
Yeah.
So that will be fun. And yeah, you've got your last weekend coming up here for the semester.
Yes. In fact, I have to study tonight at the library. So
I know.
It's go, go, go.
It is go, go, go. So we're pretty lucky, actually, that Jason's even here because I was going to just do this on my own. So I'm glad he's here with us. And it is important that he is here with us because Coeur d'Alene is
one of my favorite spots.
without a
on the
doubt,
planet.
one of Jason's favorite cities. So
I love Coeur d'Alene.
Now, you love it for a couple reasons.
Yes, I spent time in there in the 90s. What few people know is that there's bagpiping school there, which is why I was actually
so
there.
Funny.
It's well,
Of all the places in the world,
Coeur d'Alene,
Idaho is the home to the bagpiping school. I
yeah,
love
it's pretty
that.
cool. Yeah, so they do that in the summer, which is fabulous. And I love the lake.
Yeah.
I love going there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's stunning. I believe it was National Geographic that said that Coeur d'Alene is the 7th most beautiful place on Earth.
I could see that. It is really pretty.
Got some great photos.
And we also got to go around the lake a bit, which was nice because you'd
Yes.
never done that before.
Not that far.
No. So that was really cool. But it is a big lake.
Yes, it is.
Also very hard to spell
Oh, yeah.
for me. I must have spelled it 19 different ways. So now I'm just taking it directly off the website.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, you do what you can.
I'm used to spelling it, so I'm good.
It's a big tourist town now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's had quite a few celebrities hanging around in Idaho because it is so lovely there. And so as a result, the main part of the town, like downtown right on the lake, is quite done up.
Yes.
It reminded me of Kelowna, actually. Do you know what I mean? Like the
It's
restaurants and
more-
the shopping?
Yes, I think it's more upscale than Kelowna.
Well,
but I agree.
America.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Coeur d'Alene is a really nice hotel. It was actually featured on The Rich and Famous. I remember that.
I remember that. Lifestyles,
The
rich and famous.
'Cause
Oh my God.
At the time, it was called the Mick Jagger Suite.
Oh,
but I think now it's called the Jagger Suite.
Oh my God.
And this is in 94. It was 5,000 US a night in 94.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke.
That's insane.
Yes.
In Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Weird.
If I remember right, it features a glass pool.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
Yes, and there's a stunning aquarium inside the Coeur d'Alene.
We did go in and
I
see
do
that,
enjoy
yeah.
those koi.
Yes. Very nice koi.
They were the same koi that was there when I was there.
Koi will live for a long time if you treat them right.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they look happy in that
Yeah.
big tank.
That's great.
And you got to see the town. And of
Yep.
course, I got my usual premium parking.
Oh my God. Always.
A beautiful sunny evening. And I just get the one spot right against the beach.
Yep. You did.
That's what I do.
I know.
I don't know how it happens.
I know.
This is akin to us going to Seattle in the sports car and turning left we were on the main drag, and Ian lost it. He's
I'm like, don't go to the market. Don't park. Don't drive on the road in front of the
turned
market.
left on Pike Street.
I'm like, no, we're here forever now.
And then these Chinese got into their car right in front of us, and boom, parking spot opened up literally right in front of us.
Now, why did you have to specify they were Chinese?
Oh, no, I'm just saying they were Chinese people. They got into their Audi and left, and you're like, only you would do this in Seattle on a Saturday morning, I might add.
It was pretty nuts.
And same with Coeur d'Alene. Just show up and, there's a parking spot that literally opens up.
Pretty nuts. Yeah, no, it was fun.
And good food.
Very good food. Yeah, we had a good time there. We ate well. We drove around a lot. It's a really neat city.
I felt the ghost that was at the college there in '94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an interesting thing.
Did you feel it when you were there in '94? You mean?
Mm-hmm. I felt the same presence when we were there doing the photographs this time.
Ooh, because I felt it was creepy there.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about that. We're using that same book we used for Wallace.
Mm-hmm. I like Wallace.
Ghosts of Coeur d'Alene and the Silver Valley. So we're going to talk about that. But yeah, it's a really interesting city. And of course, like most of the cities in North America, someone was there first.
Yes. Coeur d'Alene,
and in this case, the Coeur d'Alene tribe of First Nations people. Yeah.
Yes. This is how it reads. The first Caucasian people, I'll change white people. So the first
beige people.
Non-native, indigenous, aboriginal, whatever you want.
First colonial scum.
Yeah, colonial. Yes. Or they could have been German. You never know.
No, they were French.
Yeah, they were definitely French. The first white people to encounter the Coeur d'Alenes were French trappers and traders who found the tribe to be vastly experienced and skilled at trading and gave them the name Coeur d'Alene, meaning heart of the all. Mm-hmm. In the tribe's own ancient language is called...
I can't read that.
Honestly, read that.
Skitsumish?
No.
That sounded pretty good.
I'm not sure. Sheet smoosh? Meaning
yeah, I'm sure that's
those who were found here or the discovered people. I really genuinely do not know how to read that.
That was amazing.
It's like, well, I can say Gumsiwa.
Skoosh, skoosh, skirmoosh.
No, that's not how you do
that. That
it.
is how you say it.
No, well, we don't know. So, apologies.
Sorry to the Coeur d'Alene tribe of people. Yeah, and then Coeur d'Alene, once those settlers showed up, General Sherman built a military base there, along with it became a pretty hardcore mining town for silver, and of course the railroad. And those things, the military, the mining, and the railroad brought with them all sorts of adventurous people.
Yeah, exactly.
The ups and the downs. And Coeur d'Alene definitely had its fair share of characters. We are going to be talking about some of the ghosts that are in Coeur d'Alene and where we went and saw some of the more creepier things. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we will be right back with that. And here we go with our first story. And Jason's going to read that to us.
I think, honestly, we had a bit of a time warp there, which is weird.
Yeah.
We're having difficulties recording again tonight.
I know. And it's a different computer this time.
Yes.
So,
completely different computer.
Well, we're rushed, right? Like, you're going to have to go pretty quick.
Yeah, but I wonder if that's our friendly neighbor that
from
lives
the
down
university.
Here. I don't know. So I want to read a story called The Roosevelt Inn, where two ghosts thrive. So
here we go.
A ghost story from John Hu, current owner of the Roosevelt Inn. Our ghost is a friendly 7-year-old boy that we have named Demis. When a paranormal investigator asked the spirit if he liked to be called Dennis, the response was yes. Dennis is our most active and friendly ghost. When we leave town, he throws a little tantrum. One time, he unscrewed all the light bulbs in the third floor ceiling. I thought maybe a fuse was blown, but they all checked out. There are 38 bulbs on the third floor, and it takes a ladder to get to them.
38.
That's some dedication.
That's a ghost, yeah.
Even the lights inside the ceiling fan were unscrewed. Dennis is notorious for waving at guests. He appears to always be happy, although he can be a bit mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
In 2008, the Roosevelt underwent a major remodel in the attic and lower level. My worker, Mark, always had a 3-gallon thermos of Gatorade or water, since it was June and very hot. One time, Mark could not find his water. We were hanging sheetrock, and it was pretty dusty.
That's the American word for drywall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Drywall. I paused for a second.
I know. Sheetrock. What the? Oh, right.
Gypsum board, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
Mark thought I was messing with him, but I was not. I did not move his water. There was no sheetrock dust where his water had been. We decided to take a lunch break and go downstairs to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Mark was a little bothered by not finding his water jug. When we went back upstairs to work, his water jug was back. Mark said, "Dude, you could have told me you had a ghost." Another time, our daughter was in the kitchen and all the magnets came flying off the fridge. The pictures and papers they were holding up started to stick to my daughter.
That's amazing.
My daughter just yelled, "Dennis, quit it."
I love that.
That's pretty funny.
But that'd be intense.
Mm-hmm. My wife was in the kitchen making cookies, and all the cabinet doors kept opening and closing by themselves. She would close the cabinet doors, and they would reopen. My wife asked, "Dennis, do you enjoy the spices?" Another ghost we have is a female apparition who appears to be in her mid-50s. She wears a white dress, her hair is pulled back, and in a bun cap. The dress has buttons all the way up to her neck collar and long sleeves. She never has any feet, but it is like she is floating. She was not happy about the renovations.
Ghosts never are.
Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
We believe it is the spirit of a teacher named Miss Milanus that worked at the school in the 40s and 50s.
Wow.
Might be Millennius. She committed suicide in one of the little cottages that were across the street for the teachers to live in. In those days, female teachers were not allowed to get married. Possibly she killed herself because she never had the chance to have a family life herself, and then she became too old to have one. We have photographs of her in the halls with the children from her classes.
Wow.
It's really quite sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
The Roosevelt has a long history in Coeur d'Alene, constructed in 1905 as a school for the 1st through 6th grades. The Roosevelt School taught all of the local children. In 1906, the 4 teachers were Miss Leish, Miss Emerson, Ida Marsh, and Miss Rausch. As the Coeur d'Alene population grew in the 1940s, the school no longer taught the 5th and 6th grades. The Roosevelt continued operating as a school until 1971, when a larger, more modern school was built. From 71 through 79, the Board of Education used the Roosevelt for storage. In 79, it was sold to Jonas Marias, who converted the school into office spaces and added the 3rd floor. He also changed the ceiling heights from 18 feet to 10 feet.
Easier to heat.
And the offices were rented until 1992, when it was converted again to a bed and breakfast. John and Tina Hu purchased the building in 1999 and still run and operate the inn.
Cool.
The ambitious Who's tore out the walls and opened up the rooms, added the beautiful archways, removed several doors to make the rooms more spacious, created the gorgeous landscaping and fountain, installed the fence, planted the grass and the trees, and much more. Interestingly, John Hu all attended the Roosevelt School as a student from 1st to 4th grade, and his childhood photographs can be found in the hanging in the halls. Is Coeur d'Alene's famous century-old Roosevelt Inn actually haunted? If you ask the owners and their employees, you will get a firm yes.
That's awesome. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis sounds like a handful, though.
Yeah.
38 bulbs that you had to re-screw in with a ladder.
Especially with the ceiling fan.
Are
That's
you
a pain.
kidding me right now?
Well, no, apparently he was.
Yeah.
So that is fabulous. What a
Yeah.
good story.
All right. Well,
do
you
enjoy
are
it
going to
down
head
there.
out. I'm going to keep going with our friends here. And
I'm
you
grateful.
will have a lovely time studying.
Thank you.
All right.
I
Take
want to
care.
wish you guys all the well.
And we'll be back with our Christmas episode. Jason
we'll be back
there
Christmas. Yes.
doing our Victorian Christmas stories like we do
That'll
every
be
year.
fun.
Our third annual.
Yeah, wow.
Isn't that wild?
Isn't that hard
I know.
to believe?
All right.
All right. Well, stay safe, everyone, and enjoy Ian.
All right. Well, for our next story, we actually did go here. We went to the North Idaho College, which is right in town. And it's pretty interesting. It's on the site of the original Fort Sherman. So it is a very, very, very old site. Many employees and students feel they have experienced paranormal activities in certain areas of the North Idaho College, in particular the area of Boswell Hall and in the auditorium areas. And we went there. We went to the auditorium. It's super creepy. The apparition of a man wearing some type of outfit or uniform is often seen roaming the halls and grounds. It is noted that he can walk right through the walls. Others report the sounds of heavy footsteps when no one else is in the room or hallway. No one knows exactly who the ghost is, but have some theories. Perhaps it is the ghost of one of the men from the army who was killed. Maybe it is a spirit who is compelled to stay in the building for unknown reasons. Is the area haunted by one of the many men killed there? As for now, the identity of the ghost or ghosts remain a mystery. Yet the buildings and grounds are rich in Idaho history. In 1877, General William T. Sherman proposed that a military fort be built on the shore of Lake Coeur d'Alene, as he found the area particularly beautiful and a great location because it would be situated right by the river. The main reasons to build a fort there was to protect the locals from the First Nations people, to protect the telegraphs and railroad crews from harm, and to guard the Canadian border because we were just so desperate to go. The building of the fort soon prompted the gathering of about 40 local people who would cater to the soldiers and provide services, food, and goods. The construction of several smaller buildings soon occurred and became the start of what is known today as the Coeur d'Alene area. The soldiers would call today's area of City Beach Sudstown because the local women would wash the soldiers' clothes on the rocks by the water, creating a sudsy mess. As beautiful as it was, the soldiers complained about the location often, as it was prone to extreme flooding that at times made the buildings uninhabitable. In 1879, the name was changed from Camp Sherman to Fort Coeur d'Alene. Around 1887, a sinister side to the fort began to emerge. On payday, soldiers would go into town to enjoy a few drinks, dance, and gamble, but some never returned. Their disappearance was shrugged off as men deserting their duties, but a few years later, while workers were building a foundation for the new Wilson's Pharmacy on 4th and Sherman Avenue, several corpses turned up. Legend says that a ruthless local man named Fatty Carroll had a habit of disposing of people he didn't get along with or who owed him money. Visitors today claim to still feel the eerie chill of cold spikes and a creepy sensation while in the area where these bodies were found. Disappearing soldiers and First Nations people aside, in 1887, the name changed again from Fort Coeur d'Alene to Fort Sherman in honor of General William T. Sherman. Today, the Fort Sherman Chapel is also Coeur d'Alene's oldest church and the site of the first school in town. Abandoned in 1900, the vacant building soon went to auction. Prior to selling, the government set aside 20 acres for a park and 20 acres for a cemetery. Stack and Gibbs, no relation, purchased the remaining acres but soon went bankrupt. In January 1918, the fort went up for auction. One bid was a mere $2,000, produced by Devon & Company from Spokane. It was appraised for $12,000 at the time. Today, a house on the water can sell for well over $1 million. The Fort Sherman Cemetery was purchased by the city and is now called Forest Cemetery, and the famous actress Patty Duke is buried there. There are sure to be many restless spirits roaming that cemetery. Yeah, probably because it floods. Today, the fort is part of North Idaho College. Only 3 of the original fort buildings remain in use: the chapel, the officers' quarters, and the Powder Magazine building. The chapel became part of the Museum of North Idaho in 1984 and has been repaired and preserved for future generations to enjoy. Local historian Robert Singletary dresses in costume and hosts interesting talks, and the museum has tours for the public and its members to enjoy. When we went, it was dark. We went into the parking lot. It was summertime, so the school was shut down, but it was creepy. And Jason mentioned that he felt that spirit at that school when he was there back in the 90s. And we definitely felt something there now. So either it's in that building or it's on the land, but yeah, you're not going to pretend it's not there. That's for sure. The other place that's pretty interesting is Farragut State Park. And this one's subheading is The Spirits of Prisoners. Back in the fall of 2017, a man named Mark Porter of Spokane Paranormal Society says, "I was investigating the exterior of the brig myself, since the building was closed for the season." So Farragut State Park used to have a brig, it used to have a military jail, and that's what they're talking about. The first instance I had with the paranormal was at a window on the eastern side of the building. I asked the entity inside to tap once for yes and 2 for no. And after a series of questions on 4 different occasions, I received a tap after each question. The second experience was on the western side of the building by the fire door, when I heard tapping on the door. My K2 meter was lighting up, and I had a rock thrown at me when I was there. The story goes, when it was a prisoner of war camp towards the end of World War II, a German POW was tortured and gave a little bit of information up. The interrogators decided to interrogate a little harder to get more information, and the prisoner died in that building. Oh, okay, wait. Would he? Yeah, no, okay. I was just going to say, I always wondered this. If you're talking to the ghosts and they're like German ghosts or from the 16th century France and you're yelling at them in English, do you really get good information? Or are they just trying to figure it out? But this guy, he must add some English, maybe, I guess. A well-known haunt near Coeur d'Alene is Farragut State Park in Athol. The brig building is reportedly haunted. People see full-body apparitions, experience being touched, have objects thrown at them, smell peculiar odors, and hear voices when no one else is around. Rumors of a suicide and a murder happened on base, and employees still experience strange happenings at the site years later. It is named after the first admiral in the U.S. Navy, David Glasgow Farragut, who was the leading naval officer during the Civil War period. This facility was built after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The site was built in less than a year, employing over 20,000 people, and cost more than $100 million to construct. It was once a World War II U.S. Naval Training Center where approximately 300 men received training in the 2.5 years it was open. At one time, it was used as a prisoner of war camp, as they mentioned, housing almost 1,000 Germans who were put to work at the facility. One of these German prisoners was rumored to have been killed. Just the one. And his remains were never given a proper burial. Could this unfortunate German man be the restless soul who haunts the brig? The ghost is sometimes seen wearing some sort of jail uniform. The military jail, which held men who did not comply with the rules, is now a museum. The land was transferred to the state of Idaho in 1949 and became a state park in 1965. It is also listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Many say they can hear heavy chains clanking at night, as if prisoners were still roaming the grounds. It is interesting. It's got a real atmosphere to it. I don't know that I definitely got like angry German prisoners, but it definitely had something going on. There was an energy there. Now it's a state park, and I think just the mere fact that they've changed the use of it so broadly actually makes quite a big difference. I don't know, just a theory. We have one more for you, Spirit Lake, which is really close. The small town of Spirit Lake was established in 1908 and soon grew to 1,000 people. It was often referred to as the handsomest little town in northern Idaho. Its main industry was lumber, with the 300,000 dollar mill built by Panhandle Lumber Company, eagerly churning out 125,000 feet of cut lumber every 10 hours. Wow, that would have been a lot in 1908. The first school was built in December 1907 with a proud 7 pupils taught by their teacher, Miss Emma House. The town was quickly known for its beautiful nearby lake. Today, nearly 2,000 people live in Spirit Lake, and the number doubles during the summer months. Many enjoy the 6.5 miles of hiking and biking trails that follow the water, named the Empire Trail. But the lake holds more than just beauty and charm for locals and tourists. Legend has it that the spirit of a beautiful First Nations girl can be seen slowly drifting in her canoe looking for her lover. The Indians originally named the water Lake Kaniski, which translates to Lake of the Spirit. Some say the tribe called the water Clearwater. Either way, the lake is one of 2 in the world that has a clay-sealed bottom, and to this day is one of the most spectacular lakes around. So who was this First Nations girl? It is said that the local Kootenai tribe promised the chief's daughter to another tribe to make peace between the 2 groups. Yet the daughter was already in love with a young, handsome warrior in her own tribe. This arrangement did not go over well with the 2 lovers, and they vowed to take their love into the eternal spirit world. They rowed their canoe into the middle of the lake and committed suicide. There are rumors of the sounds of hauntingly beautiful cries coming from the depths of the deep lake as the fog slowly rises over its glistening water. Could they be searching for each other? Is it their parents grieving with sorrow over the loss of their children? Other legends tell of a prospector who lived alone by the lake in the late 1800s, constantly searching for his fortune. Never finding one, his desire to be rich eventually drove him mad and frustrated. In a fury, he burned his cabin down and then rowed out into the lake and killed himself. Yet another legend, the lake involves a wolf and an old spirit named Amotkin. Amotkin supposedly ruled the lake and for some reason grew angry at the local people. So it decided to dry up the area, withholding water from the village for punishment. A small wolf wandered by in search of water to quench its thirst and, unable to find any, turned on the sleeping spirit Amotkin and killed him. The death of Amotkin released the spell, and soon water was flowing freely again. Unfortunately, the land began to flood. The body of Amotkin was carried down the river until it ended up in Catalado near the mission. The heart of Amotkin was torn out and thrown on the land. Thus the land was termed Pointed Heart. It's interesting about that lake that the First Nations people called it the Lake of Spirits. If you've heard us before, you will remember us talking about a lake just outside of Victoria, on top of a mountain, Malahat Mountain, called Shawnigan Lake. And I remember a friend bought a house there. And we've been up 2 or 3 times, and I never felt comfortable up there after dark. Just didn't want to go out. Just, no, I'm good. Let's either stay in the house or get in the car and get out of here. Didn't give it too much thought. Some places are just creepier than others. And then I ran into a woman who knew a lot about the local history, and of course we got talking about that. And she said, it's interesting. This is one of the few freshwater lakes on Vancouver Island that has no First Nations peoples who are tied to it, who use it as a home. And I said, really? That seems really odd. And she said, yeah, they had different names for it. Lake of Shadows was one. And place where something is happening that I don't understand was another name. And they avoided the place. They absolutely avoided it. So it's very interesting that Spirit Lake was also kind of, that English name is taken from the First Nations name, obviously, Lake of Spirits. So very interesting that the two are still, I don't know, they're tied together. The people who are of the land understand the land far better than we ever will. And it's interesting to me that, they did bring out Spirit Lake. So that's Coeur d'Alene, my friends. You should go and check it out because it is incredibly beautiful. And once we went through there, I understand why all these celebrities go to Idaho now. It's not just for the potatoes. No, northern Idaho is one of the most beautiful places I've ever driven through, and definitely worth checking out. So do check it out if you get a chance. That's our stories, and I will be back with more right after this. And welcome back. Well, if you are still with me, you know Jason has left, and you are experiencing actually what our patrons are experiencing in their Ghost Stories We Have Heard episodes that we put out every week. There isn't a main episode, and usually it's me and Jason reading ghost stories. I read them, and then Jason and I talk about them. We're usually driving somewhere. But we don't even have time to do that right now. So Ghost Stories We Have Heard has really turned more into story time with Uncle Ian. And so far people are being very kind and telling me they like it, but we'll see how many people stick around. It has actually been fun for me just reading the stories and making fun of them as I do. So it's kind of fun. And hey, that's what we're doing now, apparently. Jason will be here for sure for the Victorian Christmas episode. As he was saying earlier, his semester ends this coming up weekend. He does start up again, but it won't be the same crushing pressure of getting 4 projects in and doing 3 finals. So he will be able to do some more episodes at the beginning of the semester anyway. That was Idaho. And what a cool place. Go to Wallace, go to Coeur d'Alene, check them out. I don't think you'll regret it. Just so pretty. We do have some things to talk about. We've got, don't forget our Redbubble store if you would like some Ghosts and Bears merch. Redbubble has provided some good stuff for us too. And just Redbubble and then Ghosts and Bears. Just put that in, Ghosts and Bears and podcasts, and you'll find us on Redbubble. And they've got everything. Honestly, you could have a flippin' shower curtain with the Ghosts and Bears crest on it if you wanted to. I'm not sure why you would want to, but you never know. So they've got all kinds of really cool things there. Don't forget about our Patreon. Patreon is out here. If you're wondering, what could I do for Ian and Jason for Christmas? Hey, there you go. Come join us. Become a patron. As a patron, you do get the insider news. You also get some merch that is automatically given to you after 3 months membership. And, of course, the infamous, the amazing Ghost Stories We Have Heard episodes that that Ian does on the weeks we don't put out an episode. So that's fun. And, of course, you're always welcome to send us email. ghostsandbears@gmail.com. That's just ghosts, letter N, bears @gmail.com. You can find us on the socials, Facebook and Instagram. We're there. And we're going to be doing some fun stuff in the new year as well, of course. I was going to take a little moment and just let you know, that between now and the release of the next episode, I will have a surprise new book coming out. And I'll just give you a little bit of background on that. So I was asked in a Facebook message, see, it does work, if I knew of someone who might be interested, who is like starting out as an author and might be interested in taking on this project that this guy had in mind. His name's Justin. He lives in Drumheller, Alberta, which is the Badlands where the dinosaurs roamed. For anyone who's Canadian or in BC or Alberta, you know what I'm talking about. And he has a haunted house that he began living in 2015. And since then, it's turned into a bit of a thing. He's had Discovery Channel came and shot an episode of one of their ghost shows there. He's been on local news. He's been on national news with this house. And not only has Justin and his family gotten used to living with the ghosts, they know who they are. They know the history. They know who the ghosts are. They even know how they came to be in the house. So it's a pretty cool story. And of course, it mixes history and the paranormal, which, I'm a sucker for that. Like, come on. I didn't quite know how to write the book. And then Justin said, well, I've got all this history of the place. And he did. I had just pages and pages of history and of the people who lived there. And then he gave me the bingo, which was 7 pages of dated entries of paranormal occurrences. And everything that had happened since 2015, at least happened the first time, is recorded in these entries. And so I took the history and I took the dated paranormal things, and I kind of mushed them all together and turned them into a story of family, a story of love, and a story of a really interesting haunting. So it's just getting finalized right now, but it's going to be on Amazon pretty soon. We're not going to do a traditional print because I don't have money. We're going to do EPUB on Amazon, and I'm also going to do the Audible version, so you'll be able to find that as well. The book is called The House That Never Said Goodbye, The Haunting of Johnston House, and you will be able to find it soon. If you are on our socials, guarantee you're going to see the cover of it. The cover's just getting finalized right now. And this has been a new adventure for me because, as you know, I have Calgary's Most Haunted. It's in pre-production right now with the publisher. And I've never had to worry about details before. I've never had to try and find a copy editor. I've never had to try and find proofreaders. I've never had to worry about designing a cover or getting it designed or any of that kind of thing. So this has been a real learning curve in the self-publishing world, and it's kind of fun. I'm actually really enjoying it. In fact, I thought, wow, that went way quicker than I thought. And I realized that's kind of the beauty of self-publishing, is you can do the turnaround a lot faster. So as soon as I have the final copy of the manuscript, which is probably going to be in like 3 days, once my proofreaders have had the shot at trying to wade through it, I'm going to record the audiobook, and hopefully my hope is to release the two of them at the same time. So we'll see. But yeah, so keep an eye out for The House That Never Said Goodbye. It is actually kind of a sweet story, and I definitely felt that the story was of a family rather than of just a haunted house. And I hope people like it. I hope people enjoy it. Yeah, so there you go. Plug. And otherwise, not a whole lot else going on. Gearing up to write Canada's Most Haunted. So that's going to be coming in the next couple of years, and I'll be working on that one. May do some more self-publishing in between, to be honest. If an intriguing story crosses my path, then we'll see what we can do. And then also started a new Ghost Walk company because, why wouldn't I? Because I got nothing happening. So PG Ghostly Walks will be kicking off come June of this year, and I will be the one and only staff member. But I think it'll be fun. I'm really actually kind of excited to do it and work out my route and learn all the new ghost stories, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. And hopefully Prince George will be behind me, and they'll come and want to experience these walks. I'm not going to do it like we did in Victoria, where they're out every night. I'm going to do like 2 nights in June, a Friday and a Saturday, probably the last weekend in June. I'm going to do the last weekend in July, Friday and Saturday. Going to do the last 2 nights in August, Friday and Saturday. And then I'm going to do Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night in October, every weekend in October. And we'll see how it goes, right? Just see how it goes. You don't know if you don't try, so I'm going to give it a whirl. That being said, there is a website that is still being worked on, but you could see it if you're clever and you Google. Just look up pgghostlywalks.com and you'll find it. So there you go. You listen to the podcast, you get all the inside information. Speaking of people who are supportive, bless you. We're so grateful to our patrons. And you're going to have the joy of hearing me say everybody's name today. So, if I've missed your name and you're like, I wish Ian would say my name, because that's really likely, then this is your time. Time to just bask in the glory. Here we go. So thank you so much to Michelle, Taylor, Dawn, Robin, Maria, Gina, another Dawn, Bryce, Sherry, Marion, Kathleen, Alexa, Mary Frances, Gina and Victoria, Christopher, David, Ashley, Jeremiah, Elizabeth, BB Nix, Melinda, Jordan, Tammy, Taya, Evan, Arwin, Steve, Kyle and Charlotte, Catherine, and the ever faithful Mari. Thank you so, so much. You have no idea how much you're appreciated and how much you help us out. It really does make a big, big difference, and we couldn't do without you. So thank you for all you have done for us there. Otherwise, this is a shorter episode. I'm not going to lie, and I am sorry about that. Not a lot I can do about it. Just life. But we got it out on time, and I'm really proud of that. And I hope we will see more of you in the future. And like I said, please join us on Patreon. I would love to hear and have a wider audience for ghost stories we have heard, because I'm really enjoying doing them. And I think you might enjoy them as well. Of course, if you sign up now for Patreon, you're going to get like 3 years of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a big backlog. Keep in mind, we do take January off. Once we drop our episode in December, we're not back until February. And that just gives us a break and a chance to maybe redo some things. You might hear some new stuff on the podcast, new way of doing things. We'll see. Otherwise, thank you so much, you guys, for real. So grateful for you and for all you do for us and for how much support you give both of us. And if you didn't, we wouldn't bother, because we have so much going on right now. It's insane, but we do, and we care, and we're grateful. So thank you for this, and have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night. Walk to work, drive to wherever you're going, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And remember, if anybody asks, do you know of any good podcasts, just say Ghosts and Bears, the only podcast that does all the things I talked about so many times. You thought you were getting what you're getting, and you didn't. See what happens when Jason's not here? Anarchy. Absolute anarchy. All right. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.